Hi, everybody. I'm Bridget from Cowgirlblues, and today I am here with Jane Renton, who is a wonderful pattern designer who lives in a rural part of South Africa. And we're going to chat about Jane's latest project, which is the Foxtrot Shawl. But first, hi Jane, great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining me to chat a little bit about your project. And I thought maybe we can start with you just telling everyone a little bit about yourself and your knitting journey and anything else you think people might like to know.
Hi Bridget, thank you very much for inviting me to join you today. And yeah, I've been knitting since I was 6 years old. I remember my first project was a bunch of squares which I turned into a blanket for my doll's cot. And that was the beginning of my knitting journey. I've never stopped knitting, and I knit at every opportunity. I'm even knitting now. And I remember my husband, when we first met, would take me somewhere and I would have my knitting with me. And he used to complain. And I said to him, from the first moment we've met, I've knitted and I will continue to knit. So he's actually always been very supportive of my knitting and enjoyed the projects that I've knitted. And when we were dating, his mother said to me, never knit him a jersey, otherwise you will not get married, unless you put a lock of your hair in the knitting. So I did knit him a jersey, and I cut a piece of my hair and I knitted it into the knitting, and 34 years later, we're still married.
Oh, that's, I mean, congratulations. That's an incredible feat to still be married 34 years later. But also what a beautiful story, superstition, practice, promise to knit a lock of your hair into someone's jersey. That's really sweet.
Yeah, he still has that jersey too.
Amazing. And can you still find where you knitted the hair in?
No.
No, okay.
No, it's, as you know, when you knit with wool, it tends to felt. So, and hair is like wool, it would felt as well. So it was never visible actually.
Okay.
So.
And in those days, I'm sure you weren't knitting with superwash wool, so it would have.
No, there was no such thing.
Yeah.
There was no such thing. Yeah.
So
woolen garments, he's felt it much easier than they do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you've been knitting since the very beginning of your relationship. It's a great example of start the way you mean to continue. And yeah, I know that you're always knitting. So yeah, we've had car chats and things where you're knitting and yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's great to have you with us. Just so that everybody knows, you live in quite a rural part of South Africa on a farm.
I do. I'm near Giant's Castle, for those of you that know the Drakensberg, and we're about a 45-minute drive away from Giant's Castle, and it's a beautiful part of the Midlands. And as I sit here now looking out, we've got spring on the go. Everything's starting to flower and green up, and it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. I absolutely love it here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but it does mean living out here that if my screen suddenly freezes, internet is not always that reliable, unfortunately.
Thanks for the heads up. And I believe it's been quite cold in your part of the world. I was speaking to a friend yesterday and she said there'd been snow in Underberg and it was -1, -2 Celsius overnight and pretty chilly. Good weather for wearing your winter woolies.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think it was Monday morning, we were -4. It was Monday morning. We've had a really cold spell, and for the first time in a long time, there's been snow on the mountains for the entire winter.
Wow.
So the closest dam to us is Wagondrift Dam, and it hasn't stopped overflowing throughout winter.
Wow.
So we've had a good season.
But also very cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I live in a big old house that's got fireplaces in every room, and we've had those fires going.
We won't be organizing a winter knitting retreat at your house, Jane. Brings a whole new meaning to the term central heating.
Yeah, which we have none.
No.
We have none. And because it's an old house, many of the doors and windows don't close properly, and it can be very drafty.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fires in the winter.
Yes, yeah, we do.
So let's move on to talking a little bit about knitting. We did a knit along, which anyone watching can find on YouTube if you would like to knit Jane's Sweet Dream shawl. And today we're going to talk about the Foxtrot shawl.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's, I have, I call it mine, but it isn't actually mine because I didn't knit it. Kelly knitted this beautiful version of Jane's Foxtrot shawl. I'm going to hold it up here. And Jane, you're wearing yours. Oh, you've just taken it off.
I've just taken it off, yeah.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous, lightweight, large shawl. So if you live somewhere it does get cold in winter, you can give yourself a nice warm wrap up in it. And it's also a beautiful weight for wearing as a shawl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why the Foxtrot, Jane?
Because as I was knitting it and started knitting it, so I started on this section, it was 3 knit stitches, 3 purl stitches.
Okay.
And so it was 3 purl 3, knit 3, purl 3 on both sides.
Yeah.
So wrong side. And then when I got to the next section, it was knit 3, slip 1, knit 3, slip 1, knit 3, slip 1. And this section was a bit different because this is a 6-stitch pattern. And this section was also 3, slip 3, knit 3, slip 3, knit 3.
Okay.
And it just felt that it was 3, 3, 3 and Foxtrot. So
okay. So for those of us who may not be familiar with, I'm assuming the connection was with the Foxtrot dance. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
can you
absolutely.
dance a Foxtrot?
No, I can't.
Okay, that may be your challenge is we'd like to see a little video of you and that husband of 34 years of yours dancing the Foxtrot. No? Not going to happen?
No, never. We've both got 2 left feet.
Okay, we won't put that pressure on you then. But if I'll have to find a link to a Foxtrot and put it in the description. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that was the inspiration for the name.
Right. And what about the inspiration for the pattern and the different stitches?
So the inspiration for the shawl, first of all, was I had a skein. I don't know if you're seeing this too clearly, of this variegated yarn.
Yeah.
And I bought, I don't know how many skeins of this quite a while ago because I absolutely loved it. And I thought, well, I've got to use this sometime. I can't just have this sitting in my stash. Yeah. And what I did was I phoned Elmarie and asked her to put some colors together that would go with this.
Yeah.
So I had her on a WhatsApp video call, and we played with colors. And the colors that came up that worked really well with it were the red, the blue, the mustard, and the silver. Yeah. And it really worked really nicely. And then obviously it was posted to me, sent to me, and I then sat and played. So whenever I design something, I first knit swatches. So I knitted a swatch in each of the colors first, with how I thought I would want them to work.
Yeah.
And let me turn this the right way around. I'm holding this back to front. And I really liked how these all worked out in each of the colors. And except when I got to this one, I had chosen a different pattern. And you can see there's a line going through. Yeah. Initially, I had thought I wanted a diamond pattern. Okay. And in my swatching, it did not work.
Okay.
So one reason why I swatch first is to do a little swatch is so much easier than knitting a whole thing and seeing it's not working. Yeah. And so after having done my swatches, I then worked out how I was going to put it together. I also wanted to have something that was a knit stitch, a purl stitch, and a slip stitch. So this entire shawl with each of the patterns are only a knit, a purl, and a slip stitch. And it has created all the different patterns throughout the whole garment.
It's an incredible amount of complexity, given that it's only combinations of three stitches. And effectively, the slip stitch is a nothing stitch because you're not knitting it or purling it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be something that even a beginner could do.
Yeah.
You just need to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
And play your Foxtrot music along in the background at the pace you need. I'm imagining the metronome going tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Yes.
Yeah, you're at the right pace. Okay.
Yes. So my test knitter was testing it. She said, I can see why you've called this the Foxtrot Shawl.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
No, well, it's a beautiful project, and I really love how the colors have interplayed. So you can see on this one where the color combination is a little different, that you need one color that's going to stand out against the other ones in the different sections that will give a little bit of a pop. And this one is, the multicolor is 9 to 5, and then the solids are Air Force, Indigo, Guinea Fowl, and Camel. Yeah, and the different, the individual, the panels where the solid colors come in, you can't knit this kind of knitting in a variegated yarn. I mean, you can, but then you don't see the definition of the stitch and the pattern. So it's really nice to see the variegated and the solids playing together.
Yeah, I love variegated yarns. Absolutely love them. But it can be quite limiting what you do with them unless you mix them with other colors. Yeah. And as soon as you mix, then the variegated really shines, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Very much so. And Jane, you used the merino twist sport weight for this one? Any particular reason you chose that weight?
I wanted it to be warm and lightweight.
Okay.
So I love the drape that you get from the twist. It just has such a beautiful drape.
It really does.
So so to wear it as a shawl, you've got that lovely drape.
Yeah.
And then to wear it as warmth, you've still got that drape around your neck without it feeling heavy and bulky.
Yeah.
And around your neck, it's still warm and cozy.
Yeah.
And I felt that a double knit wrapped like this would end up being too much.
Yeah.
So whereas like this, it's comfortable. I think was a good choice.
Fantastic. And any advice to someone who's thinking about starting this project, do they need to have a certain skill level? Is there anything in particular that they should be aware of when starting this pattern?
So don't be intimidated by the apparent complexity of the stitches. It is only visual. It's not actual. It's knit, purl, and slipped. And there is one section where I actually don't remember. I don't think I've actually written out the pattern. I've just used a chart.
Okay.
And the chart is only showing 2 stitches, knit and purl.
Yeah.
And it's the way the knit and purl are done that it creates the hexagon pattern.
It's beautiful.
And you see, there we go.
Absolutely beautiful.
And it's only knit and purl. That's all.
Amazing. It's just incredible that you can create that amount of detail and almost that 3D effect just with a knit and a purl and the optical illusion.
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. And Jane, cast-ons, cast-offs, I-cord edgings or anything like that?
So the cast-on is just a simple 5-stitch cast-on right at the beginning, which I've then just used to attach a tassel to.
Yeah. Jane does have a tassel.
And then the end is an I-cord edge. So I didn't actually cast off.
Okay.
What I did was I picked up a stitch with each row of the I-cord and essentially cast it off with the I-cord, if I'm making sense. But I have given very clear instructions in the pattern on how to do that.
Okay.
And I think there's also a link to a YouTube video on how to do it.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, that's really easy.
Yeah,
with the I-cord edge. Okay. Yeah,
amazing. And Jane, what do you think? Are you open to the possibility of doing a knit along with this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's figure out some dates and times, and then maybe we can put that together for everyone. And what we'll do is record those sessions and also create a WhatsApp group so that people can join and get the information. And even if they don't knit along from the very beginning, they'd be able to go back and watch videos and things. Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, amazing. So anything else you want to say or tell us or share with everyone?
Knit, enjoy your knitting. And don't be put off if you do something and it doesn't work. Yeah. Knit a swatch if you're not sure about something.
I think that's great.
That's something you hear often, is knit a swatch to check.
Yeah. I think that's excellent advice, Jane. You and me both are big fans of swatches. And I think the other thing that I would say is find some friends. And if you don't know anyone who knits, then join a group, a Zoom, a virtual group, an in-person group, visit a local yarn store, because you'll make friends. And yeah, joining in it along is an amazing way to do it, and it's a relaxed and fairly informal process. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Jane. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat today, and I am looking forward to casting on. I actually spent some time in the studio yesterday putting together some color combinations, but I have been rethinking them, and I've got a whole lot more color ideas. So we'll be back with colors and more information about a knit along.
Perfect. I look forward to that.
Thanks, Jane. Bye.
Thank you.